Well, this one is recording. They are live on here.
Okay, cool. What's going on TikTok? What's going on, people? Today we're talking about Crohn's. So if you're just new to Secoya Nation, we appreciate the opportunity to bring this to you live. We're talking about Crohn's today, which is something we deal with on a regular basis. Susie came in 3 years ago. Jacob came in like 4 or 5 years ago. Rob came in last year. So these things are recurring because people only have one answer to what's going on. You just paste it in there. Should be in there good. Oh, dang it. All right, we're getting the Insta up on over here. So let's talk about Jacob's story specifically because it was pretty interesting what happens with, we're going to shut that off. Okay. The calamity of errors, here we go. So they want to put him on an elemental diet. If you don't know what elemental means, it means like liquid only. And so if you think you can digest and get nutrients from food from an elemental diet, especially from Ensure or things like that, it's really hard. It's really almost impossible to get that to nurture you. So oftentimes in people with Crohn's, they have mucus and they have bleeding out of their stool and they have a lot of discomfort in their digestive system. And so it's really a painful situation, and each one of the people we've had the pleasure of working with and helping get them out of that situation has always come down to some simple concepts that will help you understand here in a moment.
Just pull it off?
Yeah, you can pull it off, turn it off, whatever. Trying to get the noise off in here. So if you haven't, just read about Jacob's story. You can or hear about his story. You can go on our YouTube testimonial page or on our website somewhere where Jacob's story, he talks about his process through Crohn's and stuff like that. Yeah, it's an interesting thing.
It's off the wall. Is it on?
You might want to turn it off and then put it back on.
Okay.
At any rate, so you can hear about his story and things like that. So anything with the digestive tract, it's called the alimentary tract. The alimentary tract, aliment, so it's ALI. It's about how you're processing things in your body. It's about how you're internalizing what's happening in life, not just the food, but like things that happen to you, the way you're treated, feeling disrespected, or things like that. It could be a lot of things. I mean, there's a wide variety of things that could possibly come from. But typically, because it's a waxing and waning, it's a remitting and relapsing kind of scenario, people have a tendency to have times when they don't have symptoms and times when they do have symptoms. And ultimately, if you understand what's causing the symptoms, you can know how to avoid them in the future. So that's really important to understand. So it's kind of like a vicious cycle as far as how that goes. And people deal with this all the time, and they go get their medications, and they're like, well, my symptoms are fine if I take my medication, but really that's only masking things because it's really not fixing anything. Yeah, who knows? It's
got a mind of its own.
Demonic possession on the furnace here, so whatever. But think about anything with the digestive tract as an indigestible morsel. Like you cannot digest what's happening in life, the treatment you're receiving, things like that. And as a result, you end up feeling like you can't digest it in your body. And that can also lead to a lack of self-acceptance. So if you're raised in an environment where you don't feel accepted and you don't feel nurtured and you don't feel things like that, it's ultimately going to affect your digestive system. Because if you're constantly in fight and flight and you're constantly trying to be like, who do I got to be for my mom? Who do I got to be for my dad? Who do I got to be for my brother, my sister, my friends, my teachers, my coaches, whoever it is? You're constantly in a state of tension. You're in a state of stress. I can tell you that from personal experience. Like, I was the guy who wore a hat for everybody in my life. I lived in stress trying to be everything to everybody, and really you mortgage your life. You sell yourself out because you're never really your true and authentic self. And so the lack of treatment on the outside turns into lack of acceptance on the inside. So something we talk about here all the time is you're the first best example of how others are going to treat you. So if you're treating yourself with disrespect, if your negative self-talk is daily, that's going to be found in the people in your life. They're going to mirror back what you're saying to yourself, just as an aside. So it could be a nasty or wicked act, like something that you really feel like someone did something mean or spiteful to you, really disrespectful. It could be that you're feeling like you're lacking something, because remember, if you're not able to nurture your alimentary tract, if you're not able to get the nutrients in, if you feel like you're lacking something, That could come from love, that could come from attention, it could come from food, water, shelter, something like that. That can affect the digestive system as well. Most of the time it has everything to do with your stress and how you associate it with food and or your inability to perform something. So you can't digest a situation because it feels like it's overbearing on you, and ultimately it feels like I'm impotent, I can't do anything. And that's what that just leads into more self-evaluation, more negative self-talk as a result of just feeling like it's just not an acceptable situation. Typically, when you talk about from a German medicine standpoint, it talks about people being on tracks. Okay, so a path, a track, something like that. So when people are waxing, waning, or relaxing, relapsing, remitting, when you have a flare-up, they're on that track. Like they're getting a recurring trigger as far as what's going on in their life. That stressor keeps reappearing. And when they're symptom-free, it's because they're no longer in that environment or that type of stress has calmed down. So for you or anybody else you know that is dealing with something like this, just know that it has to do with if there's a symptom, they're in a healing phase. Okay, so they might not be in the stress right then, but they might be coming off a stressful period. And depending on the intensity of their symptoms, it can be determined by the intensity of the conflict in your life. So I wouldn't feel so absolutely certain about talking about this in any of these situations if I hadn't seen it with our own participants. If we haven't said, okay, they came in with this diagnosis, we've helped them change their brains and how their brains function, and then we've seen the other end where they say, holy crap, I don't have Crohn's anymore. I don't have ulcerative colitis. You mean I could have kept my entire colon that they cut out of me when I was 15? Yeah, as a matter of fact, you could have. But when there's only a pill or surgery for something, that's all you have. As a result, be very conscious when someone says this is the only path you have to say, that's great information. I'll take that into consideration. We'll go do some more research and I'll come back, okay? People don't usually die from Crohn's. So if you're told like you're gonna die if you don't cut your colon out, I'd strongly encourage you to run as fast as you can out the door, because that is literally a blasphemous statement. That's someone that feels like they're omnipotent and says your body's dumb. I would rather have you consider that your body makes no mistakes. Your body knows what it's doing, it knows what it's trying to fix, it's trying to send you a message. It's like a check engine light. Okay? So you need to find someone like us that can help you understand this and help you understand how to change your life, how to reestablish yourself, how to stand your ground, speak your truth and things like that, so that you feel accepting of yourself, and then you can then project that out into the world, because you're the first best example of how others are going to treat you. So show up today like you want to be treated, and the people will treat you like that. And there will be people that will leave your life because they won't accept you the way you are, and that's okay. You have to say, I accept me the way I am. If you don't, that's okay. So, anyway, Jacob was a pleasure to work with. It's so fun to see someone who is being threatened with losing their entire high school basketball career, which is the joy of their life, and now he's playing college. And them saying, you know, you're going to have to take a liquid diet indefinitely. He would have shrunk. I mean, I can't remember how many he dropped, 30 or 40 pounds. And he's a tall, lanky dude. He's built now. He's strong. But at the time, he had like shrunk so much because of the inflammation in his guts, because he couldn't absorb enough nutrients. So it doesn't have to be you. It doesn't have to be one of your loved ones. Even if you already have your colon cut out, that doesn't mean they fixed any problems. Get help. Seek help. Please. You owe it to yourself. Okay?
Someone's asking where we're located.
Sure. We're in Woodbury, Minnesota. So just outside of St. Paul, 55125. That's our zip code. At any rate, so we work with people with telehealth all the time. So there's lovely people from Tennessee and Florida, Texas, and California that we're working with as far as distance telehealth, because people want answers and they want to actually have results. So don't let the distance be an issue. We might be able to work on your brain from a distance, but we can have you come in for an intensive week and your life will transform in front of your eyes, in front of the eyes of the people you love and that love you. Okay? But please comment below with your subjects or your questions. I love that. Thank you so much for that question. We're here to serve you. We're here to provide you valuable information that no one else is providing you. We want you to have the context to understand how you can apply it to your life and to the lives of the people you love. And so we just want to encourage you to keep putting the comments below, because we're going to keep talking about them and arm you with all the information, the wisdom you need. Okay, guys? So appreciate you. Appreciate the opportunity to serve you. Apologize for the noise. We have a demonically possessed heater pump, something like that. And anyway, we'll see you tomorrow for the Oneness Wisdom. All right, guys. Bye-bye.